November 4, 2025, began as an ordinary day in Louisville, Kentucky. The city awoke to a gentle sunrise, with people heading out for work, school, and daily routines, unaware that their lives would soon be changed forever. The air was crisp, and the streets were filled with the quiet promise of a new day. At the bustling Muhammad Ali International Airport, UPS Flight 2976 prepared for takeoff. The crew, experienced and focused, went through their pre-flight checks, chatting quietly as the cargo was loaded. No one could have predicted the disaster that was about to unfold, or the heartbreak it would bring to so many. As the cargo plane accelerated down the runway, its engines roared to life, lifting the heavy aircraft into the morning sky. But just as the wheels left the ground, a sudden violent failure struck, catching everyone off guard and leaving the crew with only seconds to react. The aircraft, heavy with cargo and fuel, became uncontrollable in seconds. The pilots fought desperately to regain control, but the situation deteriorated rapidly, and the plane began to veer off course, struggling to stay airborne. Witnesses at the airport and nearby neighborhoods watched in horror as the plane's ascent turned into a fiery struggle. Some shouted, others froze in disbelief as the aircraft plunged toward the ground, ending in a catastrophic crash into a nearby industrial area. The impact triggered a massive explosion, engulfing several buildings in flames and sending a towering plume of black smoke over the city skyline. The shockwave rattled windows for miles, and the sound echoed across Louisville. First responders rushed into the chaos, risking their lives as they searched for survivors amid twisted metal, burning debris, and intense heat. Their bravery and determination shone through as they worked tirelessly, hoping to find anyone alive. News of the crash spread rapidly, first through emergency radio calls, then across television screens and social media feeds. Louisville was plunged into shock and disbelief, as families and friends desperately sought information about their loved ones. The city waited anxiously for updates, gathering at the airport and in public spaces, clinging to hope for a miracle that never came. The sense of loss was overwhelming, and the community came together in shared grief. November 4th would be remembered as a day of profound loss, forever etched in Louisville's history. The tragedy left scars that would take years to heal, but also revealed the strength and compassion of a city united in mourning. UPS Flight 2976 was scheduled as a routine overnight cargo run, departing from Louisville, Kentucky and bound for the distant shores of Honolulu, Hawaii. The flight was part of a well-established route, trusted by the company and its crew. On board were 3 highly experienced professionals, each with years of training and countless hours in the cockpit. They performed their pre-flight checks with precision, confident in their aircraft and their mission. As the massive cargo plane thundered down the runway, it struggled to gain altitude, barely lifting off and reaching only 30 feet above the ground. In those critical first moments, everything changed. Airport surveillance footage later revealed the horrifying truth. The left engine, along with its pylon, suddenly separated from the wing during takeoff, a catastrophic mechanical failure that left the aircraft fatally compromised. The detached engine slammed into the ground, sparking a fierce fire that quickly engulfed the wing. The pilots fought desperately to control the crippled aircraft, but with fire spreading and systems failing, their options vanished in seconds. The plane crashed into an industrial area just beyond the airport perimeter, turning a routine night into a scene of chaos and tragedy. The devastation extended beyond the crew, affecting workers and families on the ground. Data from the black box confirmed the worst. The plane never climbed higher than 30 feet, giving the crew no time or altitude to attempt a recovery. The sequence of events unfolded in mere moments. The intended journey to paradise ended in devastation just seconds after it began, leaving behind a trail of wreckage and heartbreak. The loss of the engine, the raging fire, and the sudden imbalance made any hope of recovery impossible. The crew's training and experience could not overcome the overwhelming odds. The crash was over in moments, but its impact would last forever. Families, friends, and colleagues mourned the loss, and the community came together to remember those affected. Flight 2976's journey ended before it truly began, serving as a somber reminder of the risks faced by those who take to the skies. The crash claimed 15 lives, 3 crew members and 12 people on the ground. In a matter of moments, an ordinary day was transformed into one of profound loss and sorrow for so many families. The crew, dedicated aviation professionals, lost their lives performing their duties. They were more than just employees. They were mentors, friends, and loved ones, each with dreams and stories of their own. The ground victims were employees simply at work, their lives cut short by unimaginable misfortune. Many were long-serving staff, well known and respected in the airport community, whose absence left a void that could never be filled. The tragedy deepened when Alan Rodriguez Colina, gravely injured, passed away 7 weeks later on Christmas Day. His struggle for survival became a symbol of hope and heartbreak for all who followed his story. Each victim left behind families, friends, and a community in mourning. The pain of their loss rippled outward, touching neighbors, co-workers, and even strangers who felt the weight of the tragedy. Stories emerged of beloved colleagues, parents, and friends, painting a picture of lives stolen in an instant. Their laughter, kindness, and dedication are remembered in the memories shared by those who knew them best. The aviation community grieved the loss of its own, honoring the crew's professionalism and sacrifice. Vigils and tributes were held, uniting people from across the industry in shared grief and respect. The city mourned the everyday people lost in the crash, their absence felt in homes and workplaces across Louisville. Streets grew quieter, and the sense of loss was palpable in every corner of the community. The human cost was immeasurable, leaving families shattered and a city forever changed. For many, the pain of that day would linger for years, shaping the way they remember their loved ones. The memory of those lost would become a rallying point for healing and remembrance, inspiring acts of kindness and unity as the community vowed never to forget the lives taken too soon. Louisville was united in grief as news of the crash spread. Vigils and memorials appeared across the city, with flowers, candles, and notes marking the collective heartbreak. The tragedy touched everyone, from first responders to hospital staff and local businesses. Emergency services were praised for their courage, but the trauma lingered. Churches and organizations offered support, while fundraisers helped families with unexpected burdens. The community's compassion shone through, providing comfort in the darkest hours. As weeks passed, the shock gave way to a long, difficult mourning period. The holiday season brought renewed sorrow with the passing of the 15th victim. Louisville's journey through grief would be marked by memorials and anniversaries, as the city sought answers and healing. The crash left a lasting scar, but also revealed the city's resilience and solidarity. The NTSB arrived quickly, launching a thorough investigation into the crash. Their preliminary report confirmed the left engine and pylon separated during takeoff, triggering the disaster. Surveillance video and black box data showed the engine's detachment, the resulting fire, and the plane's brief, doomed flight. The aircraft never climbed above 30 feet, giving the crew no chance to recover. The report focused attention on the structural integrity of the pylon and its mounting hardware. Investigators moved beyond speculation, establishing a clear timeline of mechanical failure. The findings pointed to a critical failure at the most vulnerable moment of flight. The NTSB's early work set the stage for a deeper investigation into what went wrong. The community and industry awaited answers, hoping to prevent future tragedies. Investigators zeroed in on the left engine pylon's aft mount, where they found a chilling cause: fatigue cracks. These microscopic fissures, invisible to standard inspections, had grown over time around the bolt holes. Each flight cycle worsened the cracks, silently weakening the structure. When the cracks reached a critical length, the mount failed under takeoff stress, tearing the engine and pylon from the wing. This hidden danger turned a routine flight into disaster. The discovery raised alarms across the aviation industry, highlighting a potential fleet-wide risk. The NTSB's forensic work using advanced techniques led to urgent safety recommendations. Inspections and maintenance protocols would be overhauled to catch such flaws before tragedy could strike again. The loss of Flight 2976 would drive lasting changes in aviation safety. In the aftermath, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear and Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg addressed the public. Both leaders expressed deep condolences and called for unity, acknowledging the tragedy's impact on the community and UPS. Mayor Greenberg provided regular updates, focusing on the victims and their families. When the death toll rose to 15, he confirmed the news and reiterated the city's commitment to honoring the lost. Their statements offered calm, dispelled rumors, and praised first responders' bravery. The leaders pledged full cooperation with the NTSB and emphasized the need for answers and healing. Their words became a source of strength, guiding Louisville through its darkest days. Civic leadership helped set a tone of compassion and resolve for the long recovery ahead. Louisville and UPS quickly established support systems for the victims' families. Family assistance centers offered privacy, information, and emotional support in the immediate aftermath. Fundraisers and charitable efforts provided financial help for funeral costs and lost income. The city coordinated with nonprofits to ensure aid reached those in need. Free counseling and support groups were made available for families, first responders, and the wider community. UPS pledged to assist its crew's families and those affected on the ground, covering immediate expenses. The combined efforts of the city, organizations, and UPS formed a vital safety net. No family faced the aftermath of this disaster alone. The NTSB's full investigation will take months, focusing on the failed pylon mount and the aircraft's maintenance history. Metallurgical testing will map the fatigue crack's origin and growth, seeking to determine if this was an isolated or systemic issue. The FAA may issue mandatory inspections for similar aircraft worldwide. Louisville faces a long road to healing, with discussions about memorials and ongoing support for affected families. The crash site remains a scar, but also a place for remembrance. The community's healing will be marked by anniversaries and continued support. Investigators seek truth to make air travel safer. Families in the city seek meaning in loss. The legacy of Flight 2976 will be shaped by the pursuit of answers and accountability. The goal: ensure such a tragedy never happens again.